This is a short one like me. Dudes with Brews on the Porch presents Michael Brews.
Dude. It's Dudes with Brews on the Porch. Joined with me from the band Tightwire, we have Tane. Tane, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Drew? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing well.
I'm pumped to have you on. Of course, you have your band Tightwire has this new record, Head Full of Snakes, and I've been listening to it a lot lately, pretty much since it released, and I love it. As a person who's been like a big fan of the punk scene, it's been good. I run to your music. I go on jogs, and it helps keep me motivated.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So a couple things I wanted to ask right away. Just give a little history of your band, and how things have been going. Obviously, new record going out in the world. How you feeling about it?
I feel really great. You know, at first it was one of those things where we spent such a long time recording it. You know, like the first half of it was recorded over the pandemic. The second half was recorded over like 2021 into 2022, and we kind of pieced it together. And you know, it was such a weird way to record an album. The songs were recorded so far apart from each other that I never really took the time to really think about anything other than like each song individually. And I was excited about every single song, but then it wasn't until maybe like a week before releasing the album that I actually I started to get really nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, this is the first album that, our original singer Paul isn't on. And I was like, fuck, what if people don't like it? But that ended really quickly on the the day or two before it was released. Some of the pre-orders were going out, and people were saying how pumped they were on it, and then it came out, and people seemed to be fucking stoked, man. And I'm super stoked. I think it's the direction that we should be taking Tightwire. You know, it's a little bit bigger sounding record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm it's been nothing but positive feedback and excitement from both people listening and us.
Awesome.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen Tightwire, and it had to be before the pandemic. I think I want to say you played with the Bomb Pops and Masked Intruder at High Noon in Madison, Wisconsin. Is that?
Yep, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a good show, and that was the first time that I really had listened to you, and I was like, this band's fucking tight. And I noticed like you especially like packed a lot of energy, which I was pretty excited about. Like sometimes you just see people like just chilling, and that's cool too. But man, you went all out, and it was pretty exciting. And ever since then, I've been listening. I listen to 6 Feet Deep a lot, and then this new one is just awesome. It's great.
Dude, thank you so much, man. Yeah, that was such an exciting show. That the Madison High Noon Saloon show. God, that had to have been like what, 2019 maybe.
My perception of time is so bad.
You same with me. Yeah, that was such an exciting show. I still remember that one. Which is surprising because I think I drank a lot that night.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, that was a super fun show. I'm always stoked to like hear where people like first found us or heard us and stuff. Yeah. And that was in my memory, that was a particularly great show. It's always kind of embarrassing when someone's like, yeah, I saw you back in 2018 in Portland, and then I recall the show and I'm like, oh man, we played like shit that night. You know?
Yeah, you can't win them all. It is what it is.
Right.
One thing. So I've grown up in the punk scene quite a bit, and only like a handful of my friends really listen to the same music I listen to. So it's that tight knit community. I was actually with my friend last night at the rave in Madison. I don't know how familiar you are with the state of Wisconsin, but the rave is like this pretty historic venue in Milwaukee, a little bit across the street from where Jeffrey Dahmer used to always kind of crash sometimes. It's pretty wild.
Oh wow.
But I saw the Descendants and the Circle Jerks last night, and yeah, it was a good show. And I was wondering though, like with your time in the punk scene, can we move Saturday shows up to like 5 o'clock instead of 8? Because I'm getting old, and I was fucking tired. Like by the time the Descendants were on, I was like my knees were rough, and I was like, it's time to go.
That dude, that is I feel you so hard because as I'm getting older too, like I have no interest in being out past like midnight, especially now that I don't like drink and stuff like that. I've been sober for a while. But like, yeah, I would love early shows. Not too early, you
Right.
know, like maybe split the difference. Maybe a 6 o'clock door, seven band time. But like, let's only put like 3 bands. There should never be more than 3 bands on the bill. And let's get everybody home by like 10:30.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
I just at this point in my life, I'm like and it's also like set times too. Like I don't ever want to watch more than like an hour of even my most favorite bands.
Right.
Like once it's like hitting like an hour and 15, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, I do love all these songs, but let's wrap it up, bro.
Yeah, I got to that point a little bit last night. It was a great show, though. I mean, I don't know how many more times you're gonna get to be able to see the Circle Jerks. Dude's like what, 67, the singer,
dude.
Keith.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a pretty killer show. But kind of walk me through the history of the band a little bit. So obviously you have two full lengths, right?
Correct. Yep.
So
2 full lengths.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just like, kind of, how does it go from starting a band, and then both of your albums, I believe, are on Red Scare. How does that happen? How does that all work? It's all foreign to me.
So, you know, our situation was, you know, it happens so differently for every single band, you know. For us, it was a little weird. So I can't even remember when we started doing the band. Our original singer, Paul Kettler, was the one who started the band. And when Parker's the drummer, when we joined Paul, we were called Drones originally.
Nice.
And there's still some drone stuff out there. If you look us up on the internet, we put out 2 EPs via Bloated Cat Records, which is a small record label from Iowa. And a lot of it is like demo versions of 6 Feet Deep.
Okay.
So if you want to hear like really kind of more raw, rough versions of 6 Feet Deep, look up Drones on like the Bloated Cat website.
Nice.
And I think those records are free now too. But anyways, we were doing the thing as Drones, and it was just kind of like a fun project, and people were into it. We were getting offered some cool shows and kind of playing around the Midwest and stuff, but not really doing much more than like, you know, 3 shows over a weekend or something like that. And we were getting ready to put out a 3rd EP, and we recorded it. We wrote and recorded it, and it was just, it's so weird how it happened. But that night we went home from the recording studio after mixing it, and me and Paul were looking at each other, and we're like listening to it, and I was like, man, I can't tell if I like these songs or not. Like we just reached like this point, like once you listen to your songs so many times, you kind of start to not be able to tell whether they're good or not.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, have you ever done any songwriting? But
a little bit.
Yeah. I get to that point all the time where I'm like, oh, I think it's good, but then I just start to like forget, like I can't tell. And we were just kind of like bummed because he was kind of agreeing with me, and I was like, well, you know what? I know somebody who's going to be brutally honest with me. Let me send it to him. And it was Eric Funk from the band Dillinger 4, who are good
Awesome.
friends of ours.
Yeah, love them.
Um, and so I sent it over to Eric, and I was like, "Hey, man, will you check this out when you got a moment, and just tell me if it sucks or not? Because I know you'll he'll be brutally honest with me." And he has before. Um, and then I kind of just forgot about it and went to bed. I think I texted him at super late at night, so I didn't expect to get a response from him. But um, I woke up around like noon the next day, and I had a text from this guy Toby at Red Scare,
Yeah.
and then I had a couple of text messages from Eric Funk, and Eric was like, "Dude, I think it's really great. I specifically love that song 6 Feet Deep." I sent it over to Toby from Red Scare, um, and then I already had a text message from Toby saying, "Hey, give me a call. I really like what Funk sent me. Let's talk about it." And I immediately called him, and it was just kind of a done deal from there.
It's awesome.
He was like, "Hey, can you put together a record?" And I was like, "Well, we have a bunch of songs under this name. We can just re-record them." And then he's like, "Also, you need to change the name because there's already a successful band in the United Kingdom
Oh,
called Drones." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" So within like just the next day after recording that third EP, our whole band essentially just got flipped upside down. Um, and yeah,
that's wild. That's awesome.
dude,
I mean, Red Scare is like
that's
such like for me too, like just an influential record label, and I can only imagine what it's like to be a part of it because they put out so many amazing records, like stuff like the Menzingers or I think initially started on Red Scare, which was fucking amazing. All the Brendan Kelly stuff, Sam Russo, all these people, and it's just yeah. Anytime Red Scare puts out an album, I'm definitely checking those bands out as soon as I hear about them because they always have quality. So it's yeah, that's awesome, man. So I know you said you didn't drink a lot or you don't drink anymore. But
right.
I've kind of noticed. I want to get your opinion on like the beers in the punk scene, because I think it's shifted a little bit. Back in my a couple handful of years ago, maybe even a decade ago, it was all about PBR, and I think that stuff is
Mm-hmm.
disgusting. It's really gross. I don't know if there's been a shift in the punk rock beer at all. And I mean, there's bands that put out their own craft beers and everything like that. I think being in Minneapolis, that's a pretty big beer oriented place. Would Tightwire ever pull together and put out like a 6 feet deep beer or something like that? Or 1 foot in the grave beer.
Yeah, yeah. No, we absolutely would, but we have a lot of friends who work in like the craft beer
Hmm.
industry. We like Minneapolis or Twin Cities have like Surly, and
Yeah.
I mean a fucking million craft breweries have popped up. And I don't dislike craft beer in the slightest, but I'm just a dumb Midwesterner, and I grew up drinking like light beer.
Yeah.
You know, I if you asked me any day of the week what beer I would prefer, I'm probably gonna drink like a Budweiser
Yeah.
or a Bud Light or a Coors Light or just something like more than anything. I just want a yellow like beer, like a
Right.
light lager that I can drink like 17 of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Um, PBR is still really big in the punk world. Hams is another one that I
Yeah.
see that you'll see at a lot of like house shows and stuff.
Hmm.
It's only because it's cheap. No one's drinking that beer because it tastes amazing. You're drinking it to get fucked up on a budget.
Yeah.
Um, but I think a lot of what I see now, especially in like green rooms, if people are drinking, if we're playing a brewery, of course we're going to be drinking or the band is going to be drinking like the local brewery stuff. But a lot of times I see a lot of seltzers now.
Okay.
People love that shit, you know.
Yeah.
You can drink a lot more of it without getting, as fat.
Yeah. That is a problem.
Yeah.
That's something. I mean, Wisconsin obviously is just drowning in beer culture. So it's similar to Twin Cities.
Oh,
We have
totally.
breweries everywhere and everything. But yeah, I've definitely, as I've have changed my life a little bit in the last 6 months. Just going through the loss of, like, my dad died in January, and I was just like evaluating
Sorry to
my
hear that,
life.
man.
Yeah, thank you. But and evaluated my life a little bit, and I was like, I gotta cut the beer out a little bit too. So I really limit myself to only a couple on the weekends, and thankfully the beer gut's starting to fade, but it's still very prevalent, still very still very there, unfortunately. But whatever. I'm married. I guess she likes it, so that's okay.
It's all about you hit like a certain age where it's like at this point I don't really care about having a gut. I just want to be like healthy and not feel like a
Yeah,
pile of dog shit all the time.
yeah, absolutely.
That's more my concern than I guess my weight appearance at this point in my life.
I'm also interested in, like, the process of making a record. So I've been in a million bands before, especially in, like, high school, college, but we never got to the point of, like, recording. So is it more of, do you write the songs, and do you put, like, a melody and stuff like that, and then you get together with the band and work it out, or like workshop it? Or is it kind of like, hey, I've got these lyrics, and then maybe someone else has a guitar riff or something like that, and you work on it collectively? Kind of, how is your writing process like?
For this band in particular, it's very kind of singular in the fact that, like, you know, yeah, I write and pretty much record almost 100% of everything.
Mm.
Like with Head Full of Snakes, our record we just released. I'm an audio engineer myself,
Oh, nice.
so I recorded probably 90% of everything that you hear on the record in my uh basement, like little makeshift studio.
Nice.
I recorded all the guitars, I recorded all the bass. I wrote and recorded all the guitars, except for we still have there's 3 songs on the new record that were written by Paul Kettler, our original guitar player and singer.
Okay.
Um, but I re-recorded those myself, and we had Noel sing those ones. But yeah, the only thing I didn't do writing and recording wise was the drums. Parker, I programmed like basic drum beats
Sure.
so that I would have we like our recording process is so backwards. Typically it's this is how you when you go into a studio, it's like you lay down the drums first to a click track, then you go through and you lay down like the bass, then
Yeah.
the guitars, and then the vocals go on last or whatever, and then auxiliary instruments. Well, I do it kind of fucking weird where I record guitars to a click track, then I program the drums that I would like to hear, like the kind of beat, like and we have like weird lingo, like it's, I'm like, all right here, Parker, I want you to play do cut, do cut, do cut, do
Yeah.
cut, and then I want you to do the taco beat. And the taco beat's just the taco 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 pata 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 pata.
That's awesome.
Um, and then I'll just like program a really shitty sounding like thing just so I have some sort of drums to play to, and then I'll record the rest of the guitars. I always put organ underneath the guitars.
Okay.
So I'll write and record like the organ parts, then I'll do vocals, then I'll do bass, and then the last thing that's recorded is Parker's drums. And so we'll rent a studio time and our buddy Xander, who has been our longtime audio engineer friend. He's fucking amazing. Um, we'll get him to come in and track drums, and then we'll do like random stuff that needs to be redone after drums is finished and stuff like that. So then it's just kind of after that, it's just touching stuff up.
Awesome. Yeah, and the addition of Noel from Rational Anthem, right? Other band?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yep.
Was amazing. I love like melodies. I'm a big melody guy, and I like the harmonies when people can like bring those forward, especially in like the punk world. It's like, it's beautiful. It sounds so good. Like, and I think I have to commend you because you do a very good job of that in your band, and I really enjoy it.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean it's probably the reason why it took so long is we don't just record one vocal take.
Right.
Every song probably has about 20 to 25 lines of vocals that are just kind of all buried in there. And like to the point where like some of them you don't even really notice, but if they weren't there, I would notice and I would be bummed out,
For sure. How does that how does that translate then to your live show?
I mean, the live show is now that we're a 4-piece, it's a lot easier. The first record was a little more stripped down because we were only a 3-piece, and we try to really align with what can we pull off live. There'll be like some backup vocals and stuff, and obviously we don't have like an organ player,
right?
And we're not a band that plays to tracks or anything like that, so the organ isn't there. But everything that would matter that needs to be there is going to be there during our live show. We never overproduce to the point where we can't pull it off live.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. And I like that aspect of it where the record's a little different from what you're going to see live, because then it's two separate experiences. There's some familiarity between them, but there's still, you can sing along with the words when you're in the crowd, but you're also experiencing something new, which I think is, part of why live music is so awesome, because it's never going to be the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Our shows are definitely a lot different. We play way faster than the record typically, and sloppier.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so with the release of the album, you have some shows coming up. I saw, I think, was it July 29th? You're playing in Cudahy at X-Ray or something like that.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, we're playing with our buds from LA, Audio Karate. They're an old Kung Fu Records band. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely do so. They're awesome.
Yeah, that place. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a pretty cool spot. X-Ray is.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks with Dillinger 4.
Oh yeah, the show sold out. I didn't get tickets.
Well,
with Off With Their Heads.
Yeah. Talk to me later. Maybe I can figure out a way to finagle you in.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I've we've had Andy from Eradicator on the show before, and he talked a little bit about X-Ray and his involvement with it. It's such a cool spot. I really like it, and that's bringing like those real like smaller venues, but bringing the best people there and really putting on amazing shows. So I think you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it used to be Metal Bar and Grill, right?
Yep.
Before it was X-Ray?
Yep.
Okay. I had been there when it was the Metal Bar and Grill.
Okay.
I have not been there since it's been X-Ray, which I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, my first time I'll be in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to try to make it to that show, because that would be, I think Avenues is playing too, and they're a band from Milwaukee. That's usually pretty solid live show as well. So yeah. You got any other shows coming up, or are you kind of doing tours at all?
Yeah, we have stuff coming up. I'm not sure how much of it I can really announce.
Okay.
because I don't have exact dates and stuff, but we'll be doing some East Coast stuff in September.
Nice.
And of course, we're playing the Fest at the end of
Yeah.
October. And I've been talking to, I think they're a Madison band. Are you familiar with Rust Ring?
Yeah, they're from. I think they're Chicago. That's
Are they
uh
a Chicago band?
I think so. Yep. That's
Okay.
what's the singer's name? Is it Drum or something along the lines of there?
Yeah. I know she's been doing stuff with like Direct Hit and stuff like that too.
Devin K and the Solutions. Yeah, and Direct
Yeah,
Hit. Yep. I'm familiar with them.
yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, we've been talking to them about doing like a little weekend thing
Nice.
at some point, like maybe early to mid October.
Killer.
And that'll probably be Chicago, Madison,
Yeah.
kind of just random, or like maybe not even Chicago because we play there all the time, but just like some random Midwest stuff that we don't hit as often.
Hmm. That's killer.
So that's yeah. Everything else is kind of up in the air other than the karate audio karate shows right now.
Is it hard to gear up for like a tour? I don't know if you do music full time, or is it hard to like pack the bags and hit the road, or is that like this is my passion and my kind of vacation time to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's never hard to do it. Um, the hardest part is right now the fact that we don't all live in the same city.
Yeah.
You know, Noel lives in Iowa City. I live in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota.
Okay.
I live the farthest away from everybody. I live about 8 hours from Minneapolis,
Oh damn.
and then Paul and Parker both live in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So the hardest part is getting us all together
Hmm.
and trying to get a practice in before we play.
Right.
So a lot of times, if you're unfortunate enough to hit the first show of like a tour we're joining on,
Yeah.
you're probably seeing band practice
That's all right.
because we don't like. I mean, and everybody's very competent at their instrument. Like everybody in the band is fucking awesome. Um, Noel especially can fucking shred. Everybody like I don't have to like sit down with the members, like I write everything, but I don't have to sit down with everybody individually and show them how to play it. They can just listen to it and figure it out on their own.
Hmm.
So 90% of the time it's not we're never getting on stage like freaking out about
Yeah.
how bad we're gonna fuck up. We just go on stage knowing like, okay, well, it's not probably not going to be until about like show 3 or 4 where we're locked in, but we always manage to pull it off. But that's the hardest part. We all still work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
We're pretty much all service industry workers.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, but as far as doing the tours and stuff, we're all very excited to get on it, and every time it's something we wish we could do full time.
Definitely.
We just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I mean, and the keyword is yet. I think you're more than capable of getting to that point, and you still get plenty of awesome opportunities to play some awesome shows at some awesome places. So, congrats. It's like I said, the record is
Thanks, dude.
is fucking awesome. Where can people listen to the record? Where can they follow you on all the socials and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. So you can find the record on our Bandcamp. You can find it through redscareindustries.org. All of our social media is at Tightwire MPLS, which just stands for Minneapolis. Or some variation. Our Bandcamp is tightwirempls.bandcamp.com. Our website is tightwirempls.com. And if you go to any of those sites, you can find our Linktree, and our Linktree will send you everywhere that you would need to go to find anything that you want from the band.
Linktree is a beautiful thing, but the new album, Head
It
Full of
is.
Snakes. If you like punk, listen to this fucking record and blast it, and you can listen to it numerous times. It's amazing. I love it very much. Tane, I appreciate you coming on. I really do. It's been awesome.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, Drew. Really appreciate it, man.